We're looking at Boston, Mass, another city that we've been covering a lot of late because it was such a hotspot during COVID-19. It has not risen to a level of the protests or violence prior to tonight, and this is kind of mostly a peaceful, slow walk, mostly bike-mounted BPD cops trying to back up these protesters, though we are seeing an awful lot of things flying. Paul, do you want to take a question on the stance of police, on the visual they present? As we speak, we just watched a cop hit with a vinyl traffic cone. We are now watching the contents of a garbage can get thrown at cops. We're watching water bottles live on television get thrown at these members of BPD who are bicycle-mounted cops. We have seen the other end of the spectrum, Paul, and that is municipal police departments in full battle gear who are indistinguishable from either dismounted infantry overseas or stormtroopers. Name your example. Do you have an opinion on this in an electric environment, a kinetic environment of protests?
Absolutely, Brian. It's a great question, and it reminds me of how we can do better. So President Obama, his administration, had a whole set of recommendations for how to improve relationships between communities and the cops. And when Trump came in, they threw those recommendations in the garbage. One of the most important was that too often now, cops have a warrior mentality. It's us against them, and them as the communities that they're supposed to serve and protect. And so when we see images like we saw last night with Ali's great reporting, he was just with other protesters standing there, nobody violent, and the cops just started shooting rubber bullets. That's that warrior mentality. What the President Obama recommended is that police officers think of themselves as guardians. That's a culture change. One kind of person applies for a job to be a warrior. A whole different type of person applies for a job to be a guardian. And so when we see some of these officers like the ones we're looking at right now, again, they're not shooting. They're not using the stun guns and the hand grenades and the tear gas. They're effectively enforcing the law. And so when we look at places like DC, 17 arrests compared to, again, this violence and chaos and what looks like police riots itself in places like Minneapolis, at the end of the day, this is about professional policing. Cops have very dangerous, difficult jobs. I say all the time, I don't have the courage to be a police officer. But with that authority comes responsibility to know how to do your job right, to know how to talk to people who are angry, who are agitated, to be a professional.
This does not look good right here.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.